you've been given the vision, you've formulated the plan, you've prayed on it. God's heard your prayer and will do his part. Now it's up to you. And there is no failure when you step out in that way, because what happens is, if you think that you don't achieve the goal that you've set or the end that you've set, all you're doing is misanalyzing. God's pushed you into another direction. And you embrace that and make it a success. So that's sort of.
Yeah. Love it, love it, love it. Let me shift the conversation a little bit because, again, all of you in your various ways have found success, right? Have found effectiveness, have created legacies. What I want to deal with is what have you learned in the context, do you mentor someone now or have many mentors? And how do you feel like you can pass on what you've learned to the next wave of leaders? Anybody can jump in at any given moment, and after this question, we're going to open it up for Q&A for the rest of this aggregation that makes up the Next Level Conference.
So early in my career, I started, well, actually, my little hometown started to recognize me with an Alvin L. Pittman Day. And it was a day where the youth and the community came out to celebrate me. And I said, well, you know, why can't we change that and make it, if we're going to make it about me, okay, I'll accept that, but let's make it the Alvin L. Pittman Youth Weekend. And let's do this. Let's get, in my community, having kids leave their communities was a big thing. Go on a trip to another city, another town, another state. During the summers, I said, why can't we give them that kind of opportunity? Why can't I fund that? And why can't I fund, you know, a lot of them didn't have school equipment and clothing. And I said, why can't I fund that? And let's make the summer about them. Let's get them, let's elevate their quality of life. And I thought that would make me feel better with your saying Alvin L. Pittman, now signing my name to it. So it started small with about 30 or 40 kids, and it ended about 400 kids. And I provide to make certain that they had field trips during the summer because, as I said, that was a big thing as a child, to get 50 cents to go from my hometown on the Trailway bus to the next town. That was a huge thing for me. That was big. And I thought so many, I knew my environment and I knew how important something like that would be for them. So I do that. I did that for about 30 years and graduated to other things. And I work with both of you on in organizations that mentor children, mentor youth, because who are we if we're not giving back? So that's our past.
That's amazing.
I would say that it's interesting because as CEO of organizations where young people have lived there, it's a daily expression. I don't believe, you know, the mentorship just works only by a formal program. They were watching everything that I did and said.
Yeah.
They watched everything that the staff did and said. And that's why it was so important that I always fashioned and modeled my way in a manner that would help them get to the next level. Because it's hard if you think about working with some youth who have been through a lot of trauma. They've been through the foster care system, and you think about the fact that sometimes, unfortunately, even their own family hasn't been able to show and provide love and appropriate and safe guidance. They're looking at us for that.
Right.
And so to do that daily, I remember I was blessed and fortunate once again coming here, all the things that have happened since then. I don't know if any of you saw, they did an episode of LA Stories on me with Giselle Fernandez. And the reason I bring that up, I told her the story about a young woman in our parking lot one day. She was driving, she was pushing a stroller through. And sometimes you talk to young people, they listen to you for different reasons, but sometimes other things catch their eye. And so I was going to get in my car, and she looked. And I said, hey, how you doing? You know, I'm always speaking to the young women because I do believe in engagement with the people that you work on behalf of. She said, Miss, I like your car. And I said, you do? I said, well, you know what? I can save this parking space for you, and you too can have this car at one point. And she looked at me like, what? And I expressed to her what I had done to get here and to share that I had the similar journey to her, that I was a young mom, but I went to school, I got my degree, I worked really hard, I stayed focused, and this is accessible to you. And her little eyes were just like, what? And so for me, sometimes it's just the simple things, meeting them where they're at. What appealed to them? I'm not a materialistic person. That wasn't about it. But for her, that caught her eye, like, you can get something by doing something appropriate, help serving folks. Yes. Mentorship for me, every week I have supervision with my leadership team. Takes a lot of time.